I'm Mutsuo Yamada. First of all, I would like to thank you for inviting me to this conference. I really appreciate organized committee give me an opportunity to speaking about Rugby World Cup, Olympic 7's, Paralympic track and field and marathon. I was in charge of the Rugby World Cup 2019, and I'm preparing the Olympic 7's and the Paralympic track and field as a Tokyo Organized Committee of Olympic and Paralympic Games Athlete Medical Service Supervisor. My journey has started since 2009. In 2009, everybody was happy to host the Rugby World Cup. But at that time, my feeling like that, because there are big gap in the medical aspect between the Tier 1 Union Medical and Japan Rugby Medical. In 2009, there's a risk in Japanese pitch side because pitch side medical in Japan doesn't meet the minimum World Rugby Player Welfare standard. I thought how to mitigate the risk and how to improve to meet the World Rugby Player Welfare standard by 2019. Before the preparation, Japan Rugby Medicals didn't meet to the world standard. So I always fight against the JRFU medical staff because they couldn't imagine what the elite level medical is. First of all, I made the Emergency Action Plan, EAP. Emergency Action Plan consists from the 6 elements. Element A, gathering information in terms of the minimum medical standard. Element B, training medical staff. Element C, administration and medical staff arrangement. This means the nomination of the medical staff. Element D, we have to prepare the medical equipment which meets the World Rugby standard. Element E, emergency route. I went to the all 12 venue, and checked the extrication route, emergency route. Element F, we have to protect the players' personal information. In 2011, I started sharing the information. In 2012, I started training medical personnel. In 2016, I nominated the qualified medical personnel for the Rugby World Cup. 2018, I asked the matchday medical staff to practice at the international elite level rugby. After Rugby World Cup, we building the legacy plan for the JRFU and the Asian Rugby Medical. This is road to world standard. Sharing information is one of the key things. So I went to the England and I gathered the information and data in terms of the last Rugby World Cup. And we discussing with my colleagues, Asian Rugby colleagues, because This Rugby World Cup is the first time in Asia. So we would like to share the information with my colleague. And I joined the medical training in the UK to get the high standard information. What is the matchday medical staff in World Cup, Olympic and Paralympic? Matchday medical staff have to be in charge of any cases on the pitch side in the medical room of venue. Matchday medical staff have to have license of immediate care, and the matchday medical staff can manage the emergency case and internal medicine case in the medical room. Matchday medical staff also can make a decision about the concussion and the bleeding adequately. And the medical staff can manage the orthopedic cases. And they can manage the control the player's pain using the with analgesic drug. Training medical personnel is important. It's key things for the preparation of World Cup, Olympic Games and Paralympic Games. In 2011, I had a headache because we didn't have the immediate care in sports course. We have emergency course, we have a trauma course for the emergency medical, but we didn't have sports course. First off, I took the Japanese medical staff to the foreign course. And the second plan, I invited the foreign medical trainer and hold a course in Japan. And the third plan, hold a course only in by Japanese. This is a footprint of training education in Japan. In 2050, I invited 3 foreign instructors to immediate care in rugby course. Instructors from Singapore, Hong Kong, and Malaysia. And in 2016, we started training Japanese instructors because we want to hold a course in Japanese. 2017, so we held the ISA course in Japanese by Japanese. And finally, we achieved the Rugby World Cup. Before Rugby World Cup, I delivered a lot of immediate care in sports and immediate care in rugby course. I trained 291 medical people before the Rugby World Cup. I nominate the medical staff from them. I took the Japanese medical staff to the Hong Kong for the training of the concussion assessment in the international elite level match. Our staff trained with the Asian rugby colleagues. After nominating the medical staff, we start the matchday doctor training in the World Rugby Matchday Doctor course. This course is focusing on the concussion assessment. And I also trained the immediate care lead doctors in the immediate care lead course. This course is focusing on the skill and management of injury. Our medical staff trained over 300 games. So all games were elite level games. So we use the top leagues and some is the Super Rugby games and test match. About Rugby World Cup. Normally we have 48 matches, but unfortunately 3 games were cancelled due to typhoon. So finally 45 matches we had. These are tournament venues. I was a chief medical officer of pitch side. I nominated all medical staff in each venue. About matchday medical team. I arranged the matchday doctor and the assistant matchday doctors. They are in charge of the concussion assessment and blood injury. And immediate lead doctor, the immediate doctor support the team doctor. And the pitch side extrication teams, 6 people are in charge of this job. These medical staff working on the pitch side and internal medicine doctor and the anesthesia doctor, the orthopedics doctor, and the oral surgeon doctors and the medical room nurse working in the medical room. To 2 ambulance standby at the venue. I invited 4 doctors as a matchday doctor from Asian Rugby because this Rugby World Cup is not only Japan Rugby but also Asian Rugby. He is from the Hong Kong, David Owen. He's Ken Woos from the Hong Kong. He's from the Sri Lanka, Namit Sankarapana. He is from the Malaysia, Dr. Adil Ali. Spectator medical room. We put the 1 doctor per 10,000 spectators and puts 1 nurse in each medical room. This regulation is same as Olympic Games and Paralympic Games. These equipment are basic pitchside medical equipment. Pitchside medical staff have to know how to use this equipment correctly. We use the same equipment at the Paralympic field and Olympic 7's field. This is a matchday medical plan. 2 ambulance standbys at the stadium and another ambulance standbys at the stadium. This is for the TGP lounge people or spectator. This is the match venue. This stadium is Tokyo Stadium. Tokyo Stadium is used for the Olympic 7's. And this is a buggy. We use this for the extrication players. So this is a training sessions photos before the match. So medical room, the X-ray room, ambulance car waiting standby at the stadium. There is X-ray room in each venue. So after taking the X-ray, we can share the image data using the USB. About the analgesic drugs, we can use pencil locks, but unfortunately we cannot use morphine on the pitch. But we can use morphine at the athlete village. Before the tournament, the team medical staff give us the comment like this. they didn't trust us. Over 200. What do you mean this? I sent 200 email to my medical staff because I have to deal with the claim from the team medical and organized committee. So I communicate with match day doctor and the assistant match day doctor and the immediate care lead doctors, and we amended, we corrected, and we improved our medical system in the first 2 weeks. After a few weeks from opening games, team medical staff and team staff's comment has changed like this. Their mind has changed to our medical staff. They trust us. We have 4 emergency cases: thyroid cartilage fractures, concussion, mandibular fractures, some MP joint sprained. There is no catastrophic injury in this tournament. Emergency case. When the emergency case happen, so match day medical staff and medical doctors and team doctor should raise both hands. This is a hand signal of emergency case. So we use the same hand signal in Olympic and Paralympic games. Now I explain about the head injury assessment, HIA system. HIA system is very useful to identify the suspect concussed players. So we put a tablet monitor on the pitch. This monitor is connected with the HIA room big monitors. Doctors, HIA room doctors look for the player who suspects the concussion. If the doctor identifies the player who suspects concussed, so doctor contact with the matchday doctor on the pitch side. Matchday doctor contact with the team doctor and discussion whether that player has a concuss or not. If that player is suspected the concuss, the matchday doctor removes that player from the pitch, and then matchday doctor or team doctor assess about the concussion. The number of concussion cases compare with the 2015 World Cup, so 12% decrease and 31% decrease compared with elite level rugby in 2018 season. The legacy plan, I invited the medical staff from Asia. He's from Indonesia, he's from the Hong Kong, he's from the South Korea, she's from the Hong Kong, he's from the Singapore, she's from the Hong Kong. So they observed the match day schedule, and they observed what we are doing on match day. After Rugby World Cup, Chief Medical Officer, World Rugby Chief Medical Officer Martin Lassay said to me, so Japan Rugby Medical now meets the World Rugby minimum medical standard. He gave me the medal. That was good memory for me. Regarding the Olympic 7's medical service, matchday medical team is the same as the Rugby World Cup. We use the same system as Rugby World Cup. Head injury assessment HIA system is same as the Rugby World Cup. All medical staff in the Olympic Sevens have a Rugby World Cup 2019 experience. Let's move on the Paralympic athlete medical service. I have the different emerging action plan from the Rugby Olympic Games because we have to understand the medical regulation in the Paralympic Games, and we have to know the athlete characteristics of disability. And we should know the injury data in the past Paralympic Games, and we have to adjust the weather conditions. The end of August and the early September in Japan, the high temperature and high humidity. So we have to care about the heat stress. And training a medical person is important as well. And we have to have the simulation training at the venue. So we confirm the emergency action and we confirm the medical staff arrangement. And we have to confirm the schedule of the events because track and fields, a lot of events ongoing at the same time. Medical staff should know the characteristics of para-athlete. Athlete has amputee. Athlete has spinal cord injury. Athlete is CP. Athlete has a tetrapara hemimonoplegia. Athlete is blind. Athlete is intellectual disability. Athlete is a short stature. Athlete has limb deficiencies. Medical staff should understand these characteristics of the para-athlete. We have to know the regulation of COVID-19, and we have to follow World Para-Athletic Heat Countermeasure Policy as well. This is the World Para-Athlete WPA Heat Countermeasure Policy. WBGT over 32.3 cancel the exercise. Below the 32.2, watch for the early sign and symptoms. Below the 30.0, watch out the risk individual carefully. This table shows the injury data in the London Paralympic 2012. So most of the cases happened during the competition. And comparing between the ambulant athlete and the wheelchair athlete, so ambulant athletes, the cases are a little bit higher than wheelchair athlete. Ambulant athletes injure the lower limb, so thigh, knee, lumbar, lower back, lower leg, the foot and ankle. Wheelchair and seated athletes injure the shoulder and elbow. This figure shows the Paralympic athlete risk. So compare between the field events and endurance events. So endurance events a little bit endurance events risk is a little bit higher than the field events. Heat stress management is complicated in para-athlete because there is a variety of management methods in each para-athlete, and we should know the management to each disability, and we have to recognize the risk in the tournament staff during the tournament. Tournament medical staff have to be ready for such situations. What is the demand on the pitch side medical care in Olympic Paralympic Games? The standardization of medical care is needed. What is the standardization of the medical care? First of the preparation of medical equipment and AAP. And the second is the skill. Third is the primary survey. Fourth is management, appropriate management. These factors are needed to the medical staff on the pitch side. Minimum requirement scale. The medical staff can do the initial assessment, can manage the BLS, the ALS, can manage the breathing problem, the circulation problem, can manage the head injury, can manage the spinal cord injury, spinal injury, and MSK injury, can manage the medical emergency cases. About the tournament medical staff. I nominated the 50% field of play medical staff who have the Rugby World Cup experience. And another 50% field of play medical staff has a lot of parasports experience. Road to Tokyo Paralympic 2020 emergency action plan. I made the emergency action plan. I trained and nominated medical staff. I made a plan of medical staff arrangement. However, unfortunately, we cannot hold the simulation training due to the coronavirus. But we never give up. We keep continuing. We keep training for the Paralympic Games. In 2021, we will hold the Paralympic Games. I would like to explain about the key factors of the preparation for mega sports event medical staff. The first of nominating the well-trained medical person. The second, assessing the English ability, because we have to have the communication with athlete and team medics in English. And third, practice a lot on the pitch. I think the key factors of keeping the high medical standard are having a good communication with the team medical, athlete medical and backup hospital, emergency medical staff, ambulance teams, and matchday medical staff. These medical teams have a good relationship, have a good communication each other. We can get the big success after the tournament in terms of medical things. As a result of hard work by medical team becoming one team. (2021) Tokyo Olympic and Paralympic, and 2022 we share the information and share the high standards pitch side medical in Japan and Asia. Hope for the best, but prepare for the worst. We are in a difficult situation due to the COVID-19. However, we're doing the best, and we organize committee making the special plan against the COVID-19. I'm looking forward to meeting in Tokyo. Question? Thank you very much. And I would like to say thank you to Dr. Azri Ali. He's one of my best friend. He always help me, support me. And I would like to say thank you to organized committee.